What is good, y'all? It's Ronald, also known as Youcapper from sportsmemo.com. Got my guy Austin Wang, _HTX with me. It's Friday, our Data Geek Fridays. Our other partner, YVB, is not here today. He's traveling at the moment. But he didn't have time to drop any UFC plays. But if you guys have any, just drop them in the comments. I can also provide a little bit of analysis. I have a few plays as well in the UFC. But today is going to be a pretty quick show. I think we got one MLB game that we're going to try and break down, and then we got two other WNBA games to go. Uh, News on Candace Parker just came out like not too long ago, so that is something that we need to look into before we continue our breakdown on that game. To just kind of see her status though. But awesome, man. How's your week been going?
It's been going all right. Been a busy week at work, so I'm ready for the weekend, ready to hang out with the kids, ready to watch some sports, ready to
Yep.
win some money, man. That's all that matters, man.
That is all that matters. With that said, let's get into our first game here: the New York Mets versus the Miami Marlins. I think we were both. I mean, we were both pretty much looking at this game. I think we have similar angles as well on it. And our guy in the chat, SoCal DJ, and he dropped some nuggets on the Swag Discord.
Yep.
If you guys don't know about the Swag Discord, it is all about SDQL. A lot of the stuff that we do here. Just go to SoCal DJ's account, his Twitter account. SoCal, you could drop your Twitter username, and then I think he has the Discord link there, so you guys can ask a lot of questions. The person who runs Give Me the Dog is also in the Discord as well. So if you have questions for him, he's usually available. Very a solid group in that SoCal's Swag Discord. But with that said,
Yeah, the owner of the site, he's really responsive. I mean, there's a
super
channel
responsive.
dedicated to like data issues or just questions, or if there's like some parameters or stats that you want to look at, and you can bring it up there, and he'll most definitely consider it. He's very responsive, very nice
Mhm.
guy, and knowledgeable with the very knowledgeable, and drops some great nuggets as well.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
if
like
you don't see what's up.
a couple of times, like I would message him and was like, "Hey, the site's running slow." He would literally just stop whatever he's doing, restart the site, and then he was like, "Hey, is it fast now?" I was like, "Yeah, it's quick." And then, as far as suggestions, like you said, he's very responsive with suggestions as well. I recommended having him hyperlink, on the right side
Mhm.
where the query is. It used to not be able to hyperlink on it, where you could click on it and it would go straight to whatever that query is. And
Yeah.
he made that change in a matter of like an hour. So he's very responsive. He'll take any suggestions to make the site better. So that's why I support it. But yeah, I did cut you off. Did you have anything to add to that?
Oh no, I was just saying, yeah. I mean, just the other day you were saying you were recommending that he put WNBA lines, the overnight lines, upload them
Yep,
the night before, and I saw him last night when I was researching these games today. So yeah,
exactly.
yeah, he takes those into consideration.
Hmm.
And also, if SoCal DGen doesn't have a link to the Swag Discord, feel free to reach out to myself, him, you Capper.
Yep.
We'll get you hooked up.
100%, yeah. Okay, let's get back into the game. Sorry, that was just something that we wanted to share, just because it's very important. That Discord is very informative. Um, but all right, so we got Bassett and Alcantara, and we know we were just talking about this right before the show. A lot of people are gonna just go straight to Alcantara, back in Alcantara in the spot. You can see how dominant he is. 1.74 ERA, 0.88 WHIP. He's going deep into these games too. Going past the 7 inning mark for a majority of them. If we look at series analysis, game one of series, 15-4 straight up for the Mets, 5-9
Mhm.
for the Marlins after wins. And then on the starter analysis here, we talked about their ERA and their WHIP, their record here. You can see that. And Bassett is trending towards the over for majority of the season and the under for Alcantara here. If we go to the splits, 5-3 on the road, 4.47. So Bassett a little
Mhm.
struggling a little bit on the road there. On this side, Alcantara be pretty consistent whether he's at home or on the road. 6-4 record there. In the evening, 7-5. On the opposite side here, Bassett 5-7, 3.89 ERA. If we look at the run support, though, that's where the big difference is, right? We're looking at 5.13 here, 4.5 in general, 3.67 at night, not too great. But on this side, it's consistently below. It's like the three mark, and that's what keeps it under, right? Because Alcantara is limiting opponents, and then also they're not getting runs in. If we look at the batting splits here, the Mets do hit righties. They put a lot more runs up against righties here. You can see a lot more power on that side. They strike out a little bit less. On this side, they're getting on the Marlins at home 240, about 4 runs per game. Less power here, and you're already missing Jazz and Birdie. Right, Birdie's out, right? If I remember
Birdie's
correctly.
out, yeah.
Okay.
Chisholm's probably out for the season. Yeah, you look at their offensive metrics; they're like in the bottom 10 for practically every single category. I mean, it's yeah. I just struggle to see Alcantara getting the run support he needs to beat the powerhouse of the New York Mets. So
exactly, and then we look at the bullpens, and the bullpen numbers. It's going to be tough because you already know Alcantara is going to go pretty deep into his start. But if you look at the bullpens, if anything happens, obviously we could trust the Mets a little bit more here. So if we go into the give me the dog side and pull in. Sorry, we were looking at WNBA earlier. Oh wait, I think I was looking at Marlins and Road Dog. So as Road Dogs, just looking at them in general, 16 and 24 straight up. First 5, 11, 24, and 5 there. And then I think it was, let me see what my trend was. I posted this trend earlier. Versus starting right-handed pitchers. Oops. Road Dog. Sorry. It's Home Dogs. Oh, Home Dogs. There you go. That's what I was looking at. So if you see this 1 in 10 straight up on the season as Home Dogs against starting right-handed pitchers, and the first 5, 1, 8, and 2 on the money line there. First 5, surprisingly to the over there. And you can see this. All 10 losses were straight. The first game of the first instance was the only winner. So they're going for 11 straight losses here in this specific spot. As long as they can, they stay as the underdog at home. The total is super low here. And when we look at the first 5 and the full game splits here, 1.64 versus 3.64. And then 3.09 versus 5.45. If you look at the starting pitchers, this is actually the first instance that Alcantara is in this spot. Was there anything that you saw to also back the Mets here from the Mets side? I think there was another way that I was looking at it, but I know
from
you
the
looked
Marlins side or from the Mets side, because I think if you take a look at them.
Go ahead.
Oh, from the Mets side, I mean, if you take a look at Chris Bassett as a road favorite, Mets are 4-0 this season. I know. Taking a look at the Discord channel, I can recite some of the stuff that SoCal shared, and the Mets are 18-2 straight up as favorites against a team they lost to in their last head-to-head in the same season. So previous matchup. So when they're favorites, they lost to them in their previous matchup, 18-2.
Okay, so let me look at that one. So if they lost in the previous matchup, so we just looked at. So this is Bassett as a home favorite, right? 4-0, limiting opponents to just 1. So, and they're not even getting any runs after the the first 5. And we just talked about their bullpen, how strong they are. Yeah. And then, so they got that first 5 in the full game, pretty solid there. I mean, backing one side and fading the other. It's always usually a strong look. And then you mentioned the loss.
Yeah. So do a uppercase. So revenge loss.
Oh, revenge. Okay. And they're the favorite?
No, do a L. Change that first F to an L. And then an F. Yeah, I think that should be it.
Okay, so previous game was a loss, and then they're a favorite, and then in the following game, 26-3 straight up. That's a strong strong trend there. And then they lost to Darvish 1-4. This one's surprising, right? Because Snell hasn't been having a really great season,
Yeah.
but he kind of limited them there. But I mean, Snell has had his history of being a pretty solid pitcher, so maybe he's coming back to form. I don't know. And this was just so we'll see how that goes. And then
I just think again a short line. The lines moved, towards
it's way too much. It moved way too much, right? Like I think it was at what was that 160 to open. Let's look at this.
It was like minus 140-ish around minus 140 last night.
Okay.
And this morning moved down to minus 120, and understandably so. It's kind of scary to go against Alcantara, but again, I just don't think he's going to get the run support.
Sorry, where is that? I'm lost. Okay.
Mets are in that race against the Braves for their pennant, so I think the Mets show up and take care of business here. And I love this. I love this trend right here.
Yep, it's pretty solid. And then Caesar 13-1 with rest, 5-0 away. So let's look at that one. Mets with rest. 13-1. All right, so we got 13-3 here, and then road 5-1 on the road. So we have a little bit of different numbers, Caesar, but I mean pretty strong there. 5-1 as well to back the money line there, and then you see that 5 straight wins, pretty solid.
I wonder why
why did it didn't show up? Did they play yesterday? Are they? Oh wait, they're at home.
No, they're on the road.
Yeah. Okay.
No, maybe a database deal where they don't have the rest reflected.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, there is a day of rest there, so yeah, not sure why that didn't show up, but yeah, that's pretty solid as well.
Yeah, no Chisholm. He's going to be out for the season. We took a look at that. Likely for the season with Marlon. He's got put on the 60-day IL with a stress fracture in his back. He's still out. Yeah, those are two big.
All right, so I think we I mean that's the way that we were looking at. I think the chat also agrees with us on this Mets here. So Mets money line would probably be our official play on this one. I wouldn't want to touch the total here. The total at 6.5, and I think it's even juiced to the under still. So it might even they might even go a little bit lower. From what it looks like to 6. And that's actually interesting. I want to see total. 6.5. All right, so I just wanted to see what it would be. That's less than or equal to 6.5. So it does trend towards the under first 5 for the most part. Okay. All right. Well, with that said, let's do. There's YBB. Let's go back. Let's go to the WNBA now. We got the Aces and the Fever here. And the line is at minus 14 for the Aces. 175.5 is the total. We'll go to WNBA here. You wanna kick that off while I bring this up on SDQL?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at this line. I think it's moved up to minus 14.5, and I mean, Aces are huge favorites here, but you have to question their motivation after winning an emotional, flawless game against the Sky in the Commissioner's Cup. But I'm not looking to rush the league worst Indiana Fever here. I think the Aces are good, obviously, but I think they lack a killer instinct. They don't have a knack for covering the spread. They're 13-15 for the season, 5-8 against the spread against teams below 500. They're excellent in the first half, so that's obviously something to note. But I just question their motivation coming into this game after such an emotional win against such an inferior opponent. So I'm probably going to back off the spread.
That makes sense to me.
Don't blame me if you want to back the Aces first half or Aces full game, but I'm not for me today. Instead, I was sort of looking at the team total for the Fever, where the Aces defense has really improved as of late. They're number 2 in defensive rating over the last 5 games, which you certainly can't say the same for the remainder of the rest of the season. So they've really improved on defense lately. And the Fever, if you take a look at their last 4 games against the Aces, they haven't cracked 80 points, and the team total is currently set at 81 right now. So especially with the Aces' improved defense, I think there's some value on the team total under for the Fever.
Yeah, the way that I was looking at it, and I'm breaking it down sort of like by page here. You guys are gonna be kind of confused while I look at this, but so we obviously you want to like Austin said, how they do in these large line spots, right? 2 and 5 against the spread. You don't know what their motivation is also after winning the Commissioner's Cup. But one thing you do know is that their offense is always legit. And their team total first half is what I was looking at. And right now it's at 48. And when you look at this, right? So we're looking at when they're favored by at least 10 points. You can see that their average here in the most of the damage is done here in the first half, right? They have what is that 49.3 in the total right now is at 48 for the first half team total. And if we go to just the WNBA site in general and how the Aces do in the first half on the road specifically, look at that gap in offensive rating compared to everybody else, and also the net rating. But again, like you said, right, the motivation of actually playing defense against a team that isn't that great, sometimes that's not going to be there. But one thing we do know is that the pace will be there with the Fever and the Aces. So that's why I was like, that's what I was thinking. Like, how do you back this, thinking that in Ace's spot, basically, right? You don't want to take the big spread, whether it's a full game or the first half. It's just it's such a large line, and they don't come up for these games, but they always want to score. Yeah. They want to play fast and they want to score. So that's the way that I was looking. I know like their defense, like you said, is playing solid lately. But again, man, it's just that motivation thing. You know what I mean? Like you're always motivated to score. Sometimes when you're over, you're going to beat an opponent. Why you want to play defense? You know what I mean? Like so that's the way that I was going. I was going Aces first half team total. Avoid the spread. Avoid worrying about what the Fever are going to do, and just focus on what Aces do best, and that's score.
Let me ask you, where do you find the first half team total lines? Is there some?
Well, I have my, me already. I'm in Washington, so I don't have everything available that everyone else has. But my local has over 48 at -115 team total first half.
That's good. No, I'll have to look for that on mine as well. So
I actually had to ask for first quarter lines because they didn't have it available for me for a while.
Okay.
But yeah, so 8.5. 48 over in the first half team total. That's the way I was going to go on that one.
Cool.
48. All right. So then, sorry, I was getting a message there. So then the next game here in the WNBA, Liberty versus Sky. This one was at -10 when I put this in here in the banner. But we got news right before the show started that Candace Parker was downgraded to, was it questionable, right? Not doubtful, questionable.
Yeah. Questionable.
Downgraded to questionable, and that shifted the line a little bit. I think I think it's just 1 point basically. Yeah, so 1 point, 1 point for a majority of them.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gone down to 9 on some sites. Circa has it at 8.5. So that's interesting, and I trust Circa as far as being one of the more sharp books. So right now I would wait. I think we were both on the Sky first half, or that's the way that we were looking initially. But with the news of Candace Parker possibly, questionable, possibly doubtful, and moving that line down a little bit, I would probably just wait to see where the line settles, and then take Sky later. In my opinion, that might be the way to look. We just saw what the Mystics did yesterday, right? When they got a key player out,
Yeah.
and it's one thing that we always talk about in the NBA as well. You get a key player gone, everybody steps up that first game,
Yeah.
and that's the
Injured
way that
player
I'm
theory.
thinking.
There you go.
Injured player theory, exactly. That might be the way to go here. Wait for the line to settle and grab the Sky later.
Yeah, there's no upside. There's only downside to taking it now. I mean, if
Yeah.
she's declared in, maybe the line will move
Mhm.
a little bit, but I would. It doesn't offset the risk of her being declared out and the line tanking. So I would definitely wait. I like the Sky either way. I think they'll be motivated being on the other end of the Commissioner's Cup, losing that game, and if you take a look at some of their splits and stats, excluding that Commissioner's Cup game, they've responded well after losses, 6-0 straight up, and 4-1-1 against the spread after a loss this season. And
the other thing too, you mentioned to me, this is what Austin. Shoot, sorry, can you guys even see that? That's so small. Sorry about that.
Okay, yeah, that looks a lot better now.
No one mentioned anything. All right, so Sky, this is what Austin brought to me earlier, right before the show. Sky coming off of a previous matchup loss after September 23, 2021, 11-2 and straight up 10-2-1 against the spread this season, and that's 5-2, 4-2-1. And this is the benefit of working as a group, working collectively, and just putting our minds together. Then after he brought that to my attention, I was like, well, what would it be like if it was an in-season revenge, right? There you go. The 10-0 straight up, 9-0-1 against the spread, 4-0 straight up, 3-0-1 against the spread so far this season. You can see a double-digit gap there. Majority of that damage here in that second quarter. Obviously, like I said, we gotta wait to see what Candace Parker's status is and where the line settles at. But for the most part, the only way that I can look is towards the Sky. Revenge just off of a previous matchup, but also revenge off of a loss at the Commissioner's Cup. That would be the only way I could look.
Yeah, I mean, just to add, I mean, we both like the first half, especially because looking at the Liberty splits, they're awful in the first half. According to my, calculations and my stats, they're 9-17-1 against the spread in the first half, 5-8 on the road in the first half, 1-3-1 in the last 5. They got a net rating of -12.9 in the first half, and they've shown to be more of a second half team. They're good at those backdoor covers, turn the heat up in the second half, and no, I like the Sky in the first half. I think they'll be fired up with or without Parker after that last loss against the Aces.
Yeah, we were like Austin said, we were looking at the Sky first half primarily because if you look at the net rating here, Sky in the first half 105, 96.6, net rating 8.6, and the Liberty way down here 91.8, 104.7. And what he just mentioned about the Liberty kind of just stepping up in the second half, we look at their net rating there in the second half, it goes all the way up to plus 2.8. So that's where that's where that difference is, right? Sometimes, it's just game flow, right? When you're down by or when you're up by 10, 15 points or whatever it might be in the first half, you kind of let go a little bit, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And you get more time with your bench players. And then the team that's down usually has a good chance of coming back a little bit, right? They get that momentum, pick up some offense and momentum, and then they play a lot better in the second half than they do in the first half. And it's just like the NBA. A lot of the strategy is pretty similar to the NBA on how game flow is. It's just basketball in general. So I would only look towards this Sky first half, like Austin mentioned there. So that's the 3 games that we had planned right there. Like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be a quicker show today. And I just want to run through real quick what we just talked about. So with the Mets and Marlins, we're looking at the Mets money line. We think that the line has shifted. Sorry, let me get this out of the way. Sorry. Mets money line, the line shifted way too much towards the Marlins here. I think we're getting a good price for them to be the road favorites with against Alcantara here and with Bassett on the mound. So that's the way we're going with that one, Mets money line. And then on the WNBA, the first game here, Aces versus Fever. I think we said, or we had not opposite sides, but I'm on the Aces first half team total over 48, and then I believe you're on the Fever
Team total under for the full game at 81.
Team total under for the full game, 81 points. And then the Liberty Sky, I believe we're both going to be on the Sky first half, but we're just going to wait for the line to settle here while the news of Candace Parker, gets situated.
Right.
So that's the way that we're going to go. I'm assuming it's probably going to be like what, 4.5 first half. What do you think?
Well, yeah, I guess depends on Parker's status. Right now, it's sitting at 5.5. I would say, yeah, if she's out, I'm hoping to possibly get a 4.
Yeah, if we can get a 4 in that first half, that'd be solid. Yeah, that'd be the way first half. Sky. All right, so that's that, guys.
So lines moved down to 8.5 right now. So I don't know. Maybe someone knows something.
Where's that? Oh, okay, so let me just. So Wagertalk live odds has the full game at 8.5 at Circa, and WinBet majority at the 9s. DraftKings has 9.5, and then the first half is at 5 at Circa, 5.5 in some other places. So if you do like New York, you guys grab some of the better numbers now. If you like Chicago, just wait, because you might get a better line, and if it does come back to normal, you just go back to what it originally was, so that you don't really lose anything. Okay. All right. So that's that. Austin, anything to promote? Are you going to be putting more content on Action Network anytime soon, or what can we expect from you?
But I've been talking to the guys at Dub Club. Might start a subscription service for some of my, started doing some write-ups again, because I took a little break from the NBA season. Now I'm kind of getting the itch to write again. So yeah, man.
Well, NBA season is right around the corner, man. So we can't wait for all your content to come out from Action
Appreciate
Network.
that. I've been enjoying capping the WNBA, so I've been doing some writing for the WNBA as well, just sort of personally. So as I've gathering my thoughts and handicapping the game. So yeah, looking forward to sharing those with the public.
Yes, sir. All right. With that said, that's the end of the show, guys. A quicker show today. Not much live capping, but we did live cap as much as we could with what we had going in the time allotted. But yeah, this is the end of the show. Thanks to all who tuned in on YouTube and on Twitter. If you are on YouTube, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button before you bounce. Make sure you check out the links in the description as well. And as always, I have to end with this. Please remember, whether you fade us or follow us, it's on you to make that call. Good luck on all your actions. Till next time. Peace.